Kazakhstan is larger than most of Western Europe, and its northern border with Russia is longer than the Canadian border with the US. Kazakhstan's surface by size is 9th in the world. Until 1991, Kazakhstan was a sovereign state. The nomadic tribes of Kazakhstan were victims of looting and plundering by foreign conquerors for centuries. The most ruthless of all colonists were the leaders of the Soviet Union in the 20th century. During Stalin's reign, more than 2 million Kazakhs died of famine and epidemics, and many were even executed. Over 1 million people were displaced out of their country. The Soviet Union performed over 500 nuclear tests in the area of Semipalatinsk. The consequences of this were tens of thousands dead as well as lifelong invalids. Despite the numerous difficulties, the Kazakhs have always had a strong instinct for self-preservation and knew to handle all these hardships. To survive Moscow's rules meant to adapt, to be seemingly docile, but at the same time to keep one's own tradition and national pride. Nursultan Nazerbayev was more adept for such a role than anyone else. His journey began in a shepherd's tent or the jurta in the highlands of the steppe. His impoverished family still managed to provide a solid education for Nursultan. He worked as a steel worker, where he later got his training as an engineer of metallurgy. He passed through the communist schools of Khrushchev, Brezhnev, Andropov, Chernenko, and Gorbachev. It was Gorbachev actually who offered him the place as Prime Minister of the USSR, deeming Nazarbayev closest to understanding his reforms. At that time, though, the Soviet Union was already sinking deeply into its chaos, and Nazarbayev turned to the future. He became the president of the new state. He had to face unseen crises and dangers in which the newly established country found itself. The biggest problem that he had to face was the revelation that he inherited a quarter of the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. He maneuvered in the most turbulent times, and in all difficult situations, he came out as a winner. Nazarbayev preserved in these hard times of the Kazakhstan's drama due to his endurance as an engineer of metallurgy and the vision of a reformist. Most of the aid in his journey proved to be the meeting with Margaret Thatcher, from whom he learned the rules of market economy. Today, Kazakhstan's annual growth is over 10%. This feature-length documentary is a unique story of a man who achieved so much, but none of it is really known to the world. For many reasons, there is an initiative in the world that Nursultan Nazarbayev should receive the Nobel Prize for Peace, as a little acknowledgement for the passion that he contributed to rid the world of nuclear danger. This feature-length documentary would like to bring the world nearer to one of the most vivid Odysseys of modern times. The host and producer of this documentary is the famous Hollywood actor Armand Assante.